big shelf.
I just want to say I was really, really happy to see Zootopia too. I really liked the first one, but it had obviously been a while. Um, this was well worth the wait. Everything looks incredible. I was like, I'm not even necessarily the type to notice that stuff. How was it for you coming to the project?
Yeah, well, I just got to see it on Monday, fully put together for the first time, all like lit and rendered with the full score and sound mix and stuff.
Wow.
And like I was so entertained, and there like it was such a wonderful the movie just rips too. Like just from frame one, it just goes and it does not stop,
Absolutely.
which I love. But for me coming onto the project, I didn't work on the first one, but I loved it. I still remember the first time I saw the first film and like
Yep.
how I thought it was so unique. It was such a great genre to be playing with in animation. So I was so happy to kind of jump onto the second one and help out where I could. And I just
And
wish I got
that's
more time to
specifically,
play in that world. Yeah.
yes, right. Well, okay, well, that's two questions. What's the first one is, what were the things that you were thinking, okay, great, it's my, I'm gonna have some influence here. I liked the first ones as a fan. What can I do as a creative here to actually change things or emphasize things I already liked? Like, what were some things that you were thinking when you were brought onto the project?
Yeah, like the first one I fell in love with Nick and Judy. Like I love their
Mhm.
chemistry. I always love a movie with like an oddball pairing and just
Yeah.
like the friction that causes, the comedy that causes. So I got to do a little moment between them, which was wonderful. I could check those boxes, and then I
Hmm.
ended up spending a lot of the time, the rest of my time on the film working with Gary, Gary the Snake. So,
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
he was such a unique new piece of that world and and trying to bring him to life to find who he is, and having like Ki Hui Kwan like voicing him just gave that character such personality and such uniqueness to him
Yes.
that it was really really fun to kind of to get to play with him and spend time with him, get to know him. um
No,
yeah.
I thought that was great. I thought that whole idea of there's this whole other section of Zootopia that like they've, for various reasons we don't know about going into the movie as much. And I even wonder like if, correct me if I'm wrong, in the first one I don't think there were any or many snakes, or my point is
No.
there wasn't a ton of that animation. And in this one there's a ton of it. There's reptiles all over, there's snakes specifically. So yeah, I'm just sort of, that poses its own entertaining challenges, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, because like we really, in the first, the order of the day on the first one was to not have it was all mammals, so not to have
Yeah.
it be feel like people in suits, to really kind of respect the anatomy of the animals and think about how they would have evolved the city and stuff. And
Hmm.
I still remember going like, oh man, it'd be so cool if there were reptiles in this, because I was more of like a reptile kid growing up, an amphibian kid growing up, and
Yep.
so getting to kind of go into the second one and actually have that available, it was really really cool. And you also, when we go to Marsh Market, there's all the pinnipeds with the walruses and the sea lions and the seals and
Yep.
stuff. That world
Yep.
is just so weird and fun and silly in like the best ways. But yeah,
All
I
of the
think
worlds are like that.
yeah. So I think
It's
there's just like
awesome.
this endless opportunity. And like I've always loved a movie that you feel like you can kind of just get lost in the cracks of, and like there's things to look at in the background, because like animators poured their heart and soul into like filling the frames up with just entertainment,
Yes.
besides what's happening in the foreground. So it's really a kind of a film I think that's like begs to be seen, over and over again.
I completely agree. I thought the same thing. It's like you can only do so much your first watch catching what's going on in the background as well as the foreground. So I knew I was missing some things, but that, it's like a teaser. The stuff you do see makes you want to go back and watch again to see what you missed, like you said.
Yeah.
And also, you said this at the beginning, you're so right about the pace. Like there are so many different sections of the movie and sections of the world that allow these major set pieces to happen. You're sort of um never resting unless the story wants you to take a rest for a moment, take a beat and recollect on what's going on. But yeah, for the most part, it just kind of looked like a feast to me as someone who doesn't have a background in animation. I just thought like, this is an immense amount of work, but also an immense amount of fun. Like real
Yes.
estate for jokes.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and just the like you mentioned just the fact that it's a buddy cop movie kind of at the end of the day.
Hmm.
What was something that, because you said you liked the fact that it was an oddball pairing, it was a buddy cop kind of thing. You worked more on Gary Dusnake this time around, but you said you worked a little bit on that pair. What were you able to do this time around with them?
Well, I did a bit in when they were sort of in the rock climbing scene,
Oh,
which was
yes,
fun
which is
because like
very memorable.
yeah, yeah, and I know they've been posting kind of clips of that scene up online too, and so I got to tap into. I've actually done a fair bit of climbing in my life. My both my kids are now in like rock climbing camp, so I got to like lean into my own sort of like experiences and skill sets to kind of try to bring that to life and try to make it authentic too. So anyone who's actually done it before isn't screaming at the screen saying you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And there will be those
so.
people.
I'm sure, yeah,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I tried to make him happy.
No, of course. Look, thank you so much for chatting to me and that shelf. I really appreciate it. I think I got to wrap it up now, but thank you so much for your time. All right.
Alright. Lovely to meet you, Alex. Thank you.
Have a good one. Lovely to meet you.